Welcome, one and all, to another special episode of Concentrated Chaos with your host. Hey, it's me, it's Rusty. And if you know me, I'm Rusty. And if you don't know me, well, I'm Rusty. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I want to talk about the backstory behind my favorite hobby and how that all came about and why I'm into it. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am a musician. I love playing guitar and even more so bass, more than just about anything else. If money was no object and I didn't ever have to work again, I would be playing music 24/7, be in bands, going on tour. It would be all I would do because I love playing music so much. I've played in rock bands, I've played in punk bands, I've played in a lot of church bands. I've been playing at our Journey Christian Church here in Aurora. Been playing in this band for almost 10 years now, guitar and bass. And I just love it. It's my favorite thing to do. Been doing it for 20 years now, maybe 21, something like that. And so sometimes people ask, well, how long you been playing? I've been playing about 20 years. Oh, what got you into playing? Well, going back to when I was a kid, I never had any interest in playing instruments when I was a kid. We always had the option when we were little. My mom plays piano, and so she said that if we wanted to do music lessons, that we could play piano or guitar or whatever we wanted to do. My sister decided that she wanted to learn piano. She did that for a little bit, but I was like, nah, I'd rather play. I played football and baseball and basketball and wrestled and ran track and did shot put and discus and all kinds of stuff. So I was a sports kid. But growing up, we had a musical family, at least on my mom's side. My mom played piano, and she's a wonderful piano player. One of the smoothest, easiest piano players I've ever met. It's just effortless when she does it. Shout out, Mom. Love you, Mom. I want to see you playing some more piano going forward. Anyways, but my mom's parents, my grandparents on that side, back in the 40s and 50s, they were country music stars. Touring the nation, playing with all kinds of people. If you named, I don't know a ton of 40s country stars, but I'm sure if you know about 40s country stars, you started naming some names, it'd be like, yep, they played with them. We have a TV guide from, I think it's 1950 something, where they were on TV featured and performed a song on there. We've got a lot of their old records. Yeah, so they were always musical. They were Sweetheart Mary and Utah Slim, or that was my grandparents. And so my grandpa, he was a fiddle player, and my grandma played guitar, and then they both sang. And one of my greatest regrets as a kid, and I never thought to do it because I didn't know, or it didn't really matter as a kid. But I wish that I could have seen my grandpa play fiddle. I never did get to see that. So I don't know if it's a regret, but it's maybe it is a regret. I wish that I could have seen my grandpa play fiddle before he passed. My grandma, though, she would pull out her guitar often, and she would play songs for the grandkids, and they used to play this song. It's fantastic. I need to write it down and record it and learn it. It's simple. It's just regular chords, but I need to learn it, and so I can pass it on. It's called The Burglar Man, and it's hilarious. And I've got a video of my grandparents singing it. Actually, if I can figure out, I'm going to cut it in right here so you can see what that sounds like. It's a great song. It's funny. My grandparents loved playing it for us. It was pretty cool. Let's check out Burglar Man by Sweetheart Mary and Utah Slim.
In the window and he crept right, just quietly as a mouse, thinking of all the money he'd get as under the bed he lay. The burglar man saw a sight that night that made his hair turn gray. About 9 o'clock said, thinking everything was alright. She forgot to look under the bed. She took out her teeth and her big glass eye and the hair from off of her head. The burglar man had 19 fits when he came from under the bed. From under the bed this burglar came. He was a total wreck. The old maid didn't holler at all. She just wrapped him around the neck. From the drawer a revolver she drew and to this burglar said, young man, if you don't marry me, I'll shoot off the top of your head. Well, he looked at her teeth and her big glass eye and he had no place to scoop. He said to the old maid standing by, woman, for the Lord's sake, shoot.
I love that. Woman, for the Lord's sake, shoot. So great. So that's my grandparents. And so my grandma, obviously being musical, she had some musical kids, and my uncle, who's my mom's next closest sibling, all his kids played guitar or piano, or they were all musical. And I think some of my mom's oldest brother, I think some of his kids were musical and stuff. So there was lots of musicians in the family. I was not one of them. However, every time my grandma would pull her guitar out, she would say, little rusty, because I was a little rusty growing up, because my dad was big rusty and I was a little rusty. And my 30-plus-year-old cousins, who are freaking Green Berets and diesel mechanics at mines and all these tough guys, they see me and they go, hey, little Rusty, even though I'm 6 foot and 300 pounds and way bigger than my dad now. So I'm forever little Rusty to that side of the family. Anyways, my grandma said, little Rusty, when I go, you get my guitar. I was like, Grandma, I don't even play guitar. Why wouldn't it go to one of my cousins that plays already? She goes, it's going to you. You get it. And she just kept telling me, when I go, you get my guitar. I said, Grandma, I don't even play. Like, why would you do that? She goes, you will. And so when I was about 15, 16, she died of cancer, and I got her guitar. It's an Alvarez acoustic guitar that my grandpa picked out for her. And my grandpa had perfect pitch. And so he went to all the stores in town, picked up all the guitars and played them all and kept playing them until he found the special one that he just knew. Now, I don't know if other non-musicians can relate to this experience, but when you're playing an instrument, there's real feelings involved when you're trying it out. It's a lot like dating. It's actually a lot. Now that I say that, it's a lot like dating. When you're testing instruments out, you're seeing, this is going to sound weird, but you're looking at, the curves and how your hands fit and, how easy it is to get along with it. And, this is all stuff that you're doing while you're dating. But when you're trying out guitars, there's some guitars that fight you, where you just can't play them very well, no matter what you do. They're set up weird, or the radius on the neck is off from what you're used to, or the neck's too thick, or the neck's too thin, or the scale length's too weird, or the pickups are too spaced, or the strings are too far spaced apart, too close together. The bridge cuts your hand on the side. Some guitars just don't want to be played by you. But then on the other side, there's those guitars that the only feeling I can ascribe it to is the first time that I saw my wife. You walk into the guitar room, and it's literally like shining at you from the wall. And my grandpa searched and searched and searched and searched until he found this guitar. And he knew, because he knew my grandma so well, he knew that was going to be the guitar for her. So he found it, and it's this Alvarez. It's nothing special. It's not the most expensive guitar in the world. It's probably, I don't know, $400 or $500 guitar. Pretty low end as far as guitars go. But he bought that for her. And that's the guitar that I have. And when I turned 16, when I turned 16 and my grandma passed, I just started picking away at it. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do because I couldn't afford lessons at that point. I couldn't. And so there's a wonderful, wonderful website that's still around, and I still use it all the time, called ultimateguitar.com. I was like, well, I don't want to go through like a lesson book on paper. That doesn't sound like what I want to do. What do I want to do? I want to play songs. It's like, okay, well, what song do I want to play? Let's learn Good Riddance, Time of Your Life from Green Day. Everybody know that song, the something unpredictable, but in the end that's right. I hope, that song? That's the most singing you're ever going to get out of me. At least right now, I'm not a very good singer. But I was like, that song sounds easy enough. So, I went online, and ultimateguitar.com has these things called tabs. And tabs are musical notation for numbskulls. Instead of it being, a musical staff with notes and spacing and all that stuff, it's, for guitar, it's 6 dashed lines stacked on top of each other with a bunch of numbers kind of sprinkled through. You're like, well, what the hell is all this? Well, those numbers correspond to where they are on the 6 lines is which string is played on, and then the number is which fret it is. And so I started like trying to pick that out. I'm like, okay, well, then I play this and I put this finger here, but that doesn't really work, so I got to do it. And I kind of started working my way through how to play these songs. And through it, I started to learn, well, there's this pattern where when it's, the top 4 strings and it's, 0, 2, 3, 2, I've seen that a lot. That's come up quite a bit. What is that? Then I would go and look and I go, oh, that's a D chord. Cool. Okay, so that's a D. So now when I see that, I can go, okay, that's not 0, 2, 3, 2 on the top strings. That's a D chord. Sweet. If I see 3, 2, 0, 0, 2, 3, what's that? Oh, that's a G chord. Fantastic. Okay, I started to learn that kind of stuff through these tabs. Then I started to learn power chords and messing around with scales, and I started learning instead of basic stuff. I started to learn a little bit more. Like there's a Velvet Revolver song, some Guns N' Roses and STP supergroup song called Slither. I learned that song. Still never got the solo down, but learned how to play that song. I learned all kinds of stuff. Metallica, anything metal. I'm a metal guy. That's where my heart is, especially on guitar. Metal guitar is so much fun to play. Yeah, so that's how I never really took lessons, but that's how I taught myself how to get into that. And, it's been one of the greatest joys of my life to be able to play music, even if it's just for me, in a basement, in front of a computer screen, cussing like a drunken sailor because my hands won't do what the screen says. And I know that if I played it right the first time, and then the next 87 times I can't play it right. So it's the path of a guitar player. And it's been wonderful. And so I started off on guitar. I played guitar for 12 years, 13 years only. And then it was when I played in my old church, when I used to go to Galilee Baptist Church, which sadly is no longer there. They tore it down, but that's where I started playing in church like 13, 14, 15 years ago. We got married there, actually, so it's really sad that it's not there. Anyways, there was a week where the bass player was out, and I was the rhythm guitar player, and the other guitar player that we had, his name was Randy, which is hilarious that the 2 best guitar players that I've ever met, their names are Randy and Andy. So anytime I meet a guitar player in that general sound structure, I know I'm in for a treat. But anyways, we needed a bass player that week. It's like, well, I never played bass. And they go, oh, it's easy. It's just the top 4 strings of a guitar. I was like, okay, well, sure. They say, just play the root note. Well, the root note is if it's an E chord, the root note is an E. So just play that and play it on beat and see what you think. And started playing and played the first song, I was like, oh, I like this more. It's a bigger instrument. You know, I'm a bigger guy, so a bigger instrument fits me better, fits my hands better. I like I never was a shred, lead, fast guy. That was never in my desired skill set as playing guitar. I liked being a rhythm guy. And so you play bass. It's like, well, you set the rhythm as bass player. So I went and got a bass and started learning how to do that. And I've been as much of a bass player as I can be over the last, 5 to 8 years. There's a lot of times I don't get to play bass just because of personnel, or we need a guitar player and we don't need a bass player that week. So I play guitar still. It's about 50-50, even sometimes 75-25 guitar, but bass that is my jam. I love playing bass more than, I don't know. I can't think of anything I like to do more than play bass. It is my soul. My soul. It speaks to my soul. The low notes, the low frequencies, the rhythm. Getting to lock in with the drummer, especially just some of the drummers I've played with. Our drummer here, Kurt, at Journey. Me and him, it just, from the first time I ever played with him, we locked in. It's so easy to play with him because he's so freaking talented. I love being the least talented person in an extremely talented band, which thankfully is my role. I love being that. I never wanted to be the best player in the band. Always wanted to be striving to catch up and be better. So it's awesome when I get to play with guys like Kurt and Tony Frisch and Andy Barkowski and singing with Danny Rowland. And those people are so unbelievably talented that it makes me a better player. So anyways, playing bass is like, it just, stuff speaks to your soul. And playing bass, that's it for me. So yeah, played in church bands. I love doing that. It's actually my favorite way to be in worship. I really don't like singing. Worship is hard for me. Like being in a crowd in a worship environment, it's difficult for me to really get into the worshipful spirit. But playing worship for people, it's like God standing next to me. I never feel closer to God than when I'm playing worship music. It's the best. Yeah, I've played in a couple original rock bands. Played in a punk band. We did a bunch of Blink-182 covers. We covered the entire Dude Ranch album, which is one of their earlier records, which is so much fun. That band I actually did sing in, and there's a couple of recordings. Maybe not of that, but there's definitely some recordings of me singing in that punk band, and it's a little rough. I'm not a singer. I want to be a singer. That's one of my desires. I want to learn how to sing better. Played in punk bands. I'm in an awesome rock band right now with my guitar player Andy. He's writing some absolutely phenomenal music right now. He's really in a good creative space, and somehow lyrics are coming out of me that I never knew were in there. So we're writing some really cool music, and hopefully sometime soon we can have some of that done, and I'd love to share it with you guys. It's good stuff. It's really fun. But yeah, playing music, if you ever want to jam, ever want to jam, call me up. I will be in the car before you get, hey, do you want to, as soon as the J sound comes out, I'm in the car. I freaking love doing it. So also, side note, if you're ever thinking of buying me a gift, some sort of, 4 to 6 stringed instrument, wouldn't go back, I can tell you that much. But so anyways, that's just, I was playing bass earlier. It's like, I haven't done anything about that. Let's talk about playing bass and how that works. Yeah, it's what's hilarious, to circle back slightly, is I was talking about, how when you're searching for an instrument, it's like dating, and then sometimes you find one and it's like falling in love for the first time. Literally, since I said that, I've been thinking in my head about this freaking Taylor acoustic guitar from, 10 years ago. Was at a store up in, what is that? It was up off like 92nd. I don't think it's even there anymore. It was a like a Guitar Center, but it wasn't Guitar Center. I don't even remember the store, but I remember exactly in the store where this Taylor guitar was. And it was, I literally, this entire podcast, since I said that, I've been thinking about that. I don't know how I haven't tripped up more, because that was the one that got away. And I think about that guitar all the time. I mean, not daily, but a couple times a week, I think about that guitar. And I would go and visit it. I would drive my happy ass all the way from Southeast Aurora, all the way up there off 92nd and 36, and would play on that guitar for hours till they would kick me out. I probably visited that guitar 15, 20 times. And I never was going to be able to afford it. It was, $3,800 guitar probably. And so since then, it's like getting your heart broken. Once that guitar went away, somebody bought it, I was legitimately heartbroken. It's like somebody broke up with me. And ever since then, I've yet to pick up an expensive instrument, anything more than like $1,500, because I don't want to get my heart broken again. That's a legitimate thing. That's for real. So yeah, it's just funny. I'm surprised at how often that comes up, and it's probably never gonna go away. It's always that one girl that's the one that got away, and what if, but it's absolutely like that for guitars, at least for me. I assume it's like that with other musicians, because there's mojo. I don't know what that is, and that's not very Christian of me, but there's some sort of energy that's in some instruments. And sometimes they speak to you and sometimes they don't. But it makes it even more special when you find that one. And my wife doesn't like me to go out and look for more instruments, because I've got plenty enough already. But I'm always on the hunt for that next love. So yeah, I miss that Taylor guitar. I'm still thinking about it. Anyways, that's going to do it for today. I could talk about that Taylor guitar for another hour and nobody would listen, but thanks for hanging in there. Yeah, I'm not just saying that. Like, anybody wants to ever jam, call me up. If you need a bass player or you need a guitar player to fill in for a church gig or a rock gig or whatever, I'm available and I'm free. If I can play it, I will come and I'll play for free, and you only give me a beer. I don't care. I just want to make music and play. So that's a real offer that's out there for anyone. So that's it. That's all for today. Thank you guys very much. The phone number is 303-335-9705, and that is a direct line right to my face. The email is rusty@rustystevenson.com. And you can find me on all social medias at The Realtor Rusty. Stop on by and drop a like and a comment, and would sincerely appreciate anyone out there that if it felt right in your heart, or if you just accidentally clicked on the subscribe button, I would be grateful. That'd be awesome. So thank you, everybody, for joining me today. We will see you next time. Mr. Andy Barkowski, who brings us in every single time, he's going to take us out with my awesome theme song. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you play music, go play some music today. Or just go listen to some music. Do something musical today. All right. See you guys. Have a good one.